Antoine, pull your chair up real close to the desk here. Perfect. And Ashley, if you would bring your chair up on this side of Antoine. Antoine, I need that on the desk. Dayton, just pull your chair right here on this side of Ashley. Jared, just pull your chair right here on this side of Antoine. And Jimmy, if you would pull your chair up on this side of Jared. Perfect. All right, Dayton, if you would, I want you to kind of straighten it up, do right beside her, and then LeBron, just bring your chair around this side, on this side of Dayton over here. All right, we'll go and get started. Okay, once again, my name is Matt Terry. I'm the district manager here in Winston-Salem. That just means I oversee the recruiting and the duties and operations here in the surrounding areas. So let me just begin by reviewing the interview process, make sure that everybody understands what we're looking to get done here. Okay, what you just went through was a screening process. You're the people I decided to spend more time with today. I'm going to spend about an hour going through the details of the positions we have. After that, I'll have each one of you answer a couple more questions on paper for me, and then I'll meet with each one of you again one-on-one to let you know whether or not you've been selected. So I will use my outline so I don't miss anything. So the first question for all of you would be, why do you think I have this part of the interview in a group? Yes?
To see about our speaking skills in front of peers that we're not familiar with.
Sure, to see how you interact around other people and answer my questions in front of your peers, that's true. Any other reasons about having a group? Yes?
We might be working with each other or something.
Okay, maybe, not so much, maybe working with customers, but not so much with each other. It mainly saves me a lot of time. If I interviewed each one of you for 60 minutes one-on-one, it wouldn't leave much time for personal life, so that's why I do that. And I want to let you know we've already filled a few positions at this point, so through the interview process, not everybody's going to be working with us. I will give all of you the courtesy of a final decision today, though, whether or not it's going to work out. As I go through the details, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I'm mainly looking for how comfortable you are answering and interacting. I base almost all of my decisions today on this part of the interview. Obviously, your application and your past experience matter, but most of my decision comes from what I see here. And I found that through this process, I'm usually able to select the best people for the job. So, have any of you ever started a job before where you didn't know what your exact responsibilities were or exactly what you'd be doing until you showed up? Right. Sure. So, a lot of companies operate that way. Okay, since I've worked with Vector as a manager, I find it a lot easier for myself and our management team that when I do bring on new people, they know everything there is to know about what is expected of them and what their duties are. That way they're more comfortable and they're easy to train when they come in. So this is what we go through today. We cover our company and our products, and our market and our pay, our training and our perks. We cover everything. So to save us some time, if you have any questions during this part of the interview, then just write them down in the back of your notes. I'll be happy to answer them for you when I meet with you one-on-one. So when I first started, I began right where each of you is sitting, applying for the same position as all of you. Everyone that works with this company starts in the same place, including our company president. I'm sure you all know that most companies are owned by large corporations. Vector's no different. Vector's owned by Cutco Corporations, which was started back in 1949. Vector, which is owned by Cutco, was started in 1981. And our company headquarters is located up in Olean, New York. It's about an hour south of Buffalo. That's where our factory is. And just to give you an idea of the size of our business, in 1981, Vector's first year, we did about $750,000 in business. In 1992, we've grown to about $50 million. Now we're doing about $300 million every year. So Jimmy, what are some advantages of working for a growing company?
Leadership, knowing the product that you're selling, the community that you're in.
Jimmy, how's the job market nowadays?
Pretty stagnant.
Sure, at a time when a lot of companies are remaining stagnant, laying people off, Vector's adding people. So job security is a huge advantage of working for a growing company. Any other advantages of working for a growing company?
Better chance for advancement.
Sure, the reason I've moved into this position is because I've worked very hard. Since our company's growing, our people are able to move up quickly if they have a good work ethic. Okay. Also, as far as our corporate structure, we're split up into 6 regions throughout the United States and 1 in Canada. This is, we're in the eastern region, the red region located in here, the green region on that map. But it's about 11 states in the eastern region. To break it up for you further, we're part of the Carolina Division. That's everything in North and South Carolina. We have 26 offices in North and South Carolina. We have about 600 offices nationwide. These are the staff members of each office in the eastern region. I'll pass it around, you're welcome to look at it. But as far as who we work with all types of people, from students to career professionals to people looking for supplemental income. Actually, some companies don't like to work with students. Why do you think that is?
Yes, sir.
Sure, if I call on someone, just be courteous, let that person answer. Okay, so Ashley, why do you think that is?
Because flexibility. Some students aren't as flexible because of their schedules, and then sometimes they can be irresponsible.
Okay, sure. Obviously, a lot of students work on a short-term basis or in school. And as I heard some other people mention, many students are less experienced. Many employers view them as less responsible. They don't have any real work experience. We, on the other hand, enjoy working with students because they're already used to learning, and they're naturally attracted to our program because of the flexibility and the perks we provide for them. Our company has an academic advisory board. It's a group of 6 college professors who improve our program from an educational standpoint, and they're from different universities. I'll pass it around. This is a scholarship brochure. It's called the All-American Scholarship, so the students inside want a scholarship with the company. You're welcome to take a look at it. Also, in the past, we've worked very closely with NC State University in Raleigh. There's a letter from David Hennard, a professor from NC State, just what he has to say about our programs. David requires all of his students to go through our training and sell our products as part of a class project. Okay, so you're welcome to read through that letter. Also, Vector has an internship and a co-op program. Okay, some of the students who work with us can gain college credits through working with us. We've had students from Forsyth Tech and Wake Forest earn internships with us, and we award about $160,000 in scholarship monies every year to students and universities. So when the company was founded, we made a few decisions about how we're going to run our business. And I think it's important that you know a few of those. So the first decision the company made was to only manufacture the highest quality products. LeBrian, why do you think we chose to manufacture high quality products instead of low quality?
High quality, they last longer, the durability on it is going to be a lot stronger. Customers will always buy your products.
Sure, people like quality, good word of mouth advertising. Okay, just to give you an idea, we've had the same basic product line since 1949. Now the company won't add another product unless it's the best of its kind. So the second decision the company made was to present our products in a low-key manner. So has anyone here ever met a pushy salesperson?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure we all have. Our company philosophy is if a customer buys, that's great. And if they don't buy, that's okay. The main focus that our representatives have is just to educate a customer so they can make the best decision for themselves. We've had clients who've been with us for 30, 40, 50 years. The reason they stay with us is because of how they're dealt with. Having 18 million customers nationwide, that's something that's pretty important to us, honesty and integrity. And that's our next corporate philosophy. And honesty and integrity is important throughout our entire company. But it always starts with the product, so there's no need to exaggerate or be dishonest about a product in any way. Dayton, what could happen if somebody exaggerates a product?
Well, if they do decide to buy it, the customer that is, and they realize that they're dissatisfied with it, it'll be a bad rep on us.
Sure.
And they won't spread the word, and we won't get more customers.
Sure, so it leads to bad word of mouth advertising, bad reputation. That's why it's important to us. It's important to me because I deal with people like this on a daily basis. So I expect anyone I select to deal with their customers and coworkers the same way. Okay, being a member of the Better Business Bureau since 1990 with an A+ rating, that's something that's pretty important to us. So we're looking to only take the right people on the team. Okay, number 4 would be how to market our products. And as you know, we chose to market by appointments for a few key reasons. Okay, so Jerry, what happens to the price of a product after every step it takes from the factory to the store?
Good question. And the factory to the store, the price actually impacts it because it increases the price.
Sure. Every step it takes, middleman, markup, shipping costs, the price always goes up from the factory to the store. So with a high quality product, that takes even more steps, it can be very expensive when it finally reaches the store. So non-store retailing is a very common way to market products now through the internet or catalogs or ads, places like that. Jerry, why is it so popular to buy directly from a company?
Because you can help the middleman,
Sure.
so you lower the price.
Sure, the price, that's the main reason. Also convenience, one-on-one personal touch, trust factor, all those are reasons why people like to buy direct from a company. So we work through professional appointments only. I go through exactly how that works when I get to the market section. Okay, the fifth decision we made was how to pay our people. And we decided to pay a lot more than most other entry-level jobs. Antoine, why do you think we decided to do that?
Just to make it more simpler, like when you do make you do like a direct deposit through pay, so you don't have to worry. Also, employees don't have to worry about going to the bank and getting their checks.
Okay, let me ask the question again. We decided to pay more than most other entry-level jobs. Why would we do that?
Because there's going to be a lot of work into the entry-level program.
Okay. Sure, maybe it's more challenging. Not the main thing I'm looking for. Jimmy, can you help him out? Ashley?
You keep more people that way. You'll keep your employees happier if you start off with a higher pay. People will be more interested in working for you, and they'll be more interested in staying longer.
Sure. It gets more applicants through the door, so I can select better people to work here. Also, I find if I show confidence in our people and we pay them well, they usually rise to the occasion and we can expect more out of them. They will work harder. Okay, so that's why we have a higher base rate of pay. Do you have something to add?
That's what I was going to say, is that they'll be encouraged to do better,
Sure.
try harder.
Sure. So we do have a two-part pay program. Jerry, how are most salespeople paid?
Oh, just hourly. Hourly is most people from, just basic sales.
Okay.
It would be
so
hourly.
Most
Hourly.
salespeople paid hourly?
Well, we're not, I'm sorry. It's commission.
Sure.
It's commission, and I would just separate the retail sales from the commission. That's
Sure.
what I was trying to do.
Okay. Sure. Most yes.
I was going referring back to the pay, like it does. I mean, the pay does motivate people to work harder. That's what I was trying to get at
Okay.
first.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's no problem. Sounds good. So yeah, so obviously most salespeople pay commission. And Jerry, if somebody's being paid commission only, then what might they tend to do to a customer?
Oh, sometimes they may overstate the facts. They might misrepresent the product just to sell, just to close a sale.
Okay, sure. So be pushy, aggressive, or badgering them, or exaggerate everything I just said not to do.
Mhm.
Right, that's why we have a guaranteed rate to ensure a low-key approach. We also have an incentive rate, though, so those who do work hard have the opportunity to earn more. We'll cover that later in detail when we go to the pay section. As far as the products, I'll show you some samples of our products. I'm going to do it the same way that a representative would for a customer, and I'll start by showing you our shears. Does anybody have a penny that I could borrow?
Anyway,
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so a demonstration that a representative do for a customer to show the quality of our shears.
oh wow.
Okay, so our shears are made of high carbon surgical stainless steel. They have thermo resin handles for comfort. They fit both right and left-handed people, big or small hands. They also come apart for easy cleaning. So I'll pass them around, just don't stick your finger in them. LeBryant, how do you think a customer reacts to seeing that demonstration?
Honestly, I would tell you I would buy it. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's seen this, they would buy it too.
Sure, they're usually pretty astonished and amazed. So for that reason, LeBryant, why do you think we chose not to market those in stores?
Well, I feel maybe because I really don't know.
Antoine?
I guess so we won't have to rival other knives from other companies like Ginsu.
Okay. Sure, maybe competitors, things like that. Yes,
Doesn't
sir.
that raise the cost of them if you put them in stores?
Sure,
Because that
just
gives
like-
them another place that it has to go through.
Sure, Dave, just like we talked about earlier, the price of a high-quality product like that, if it were sold in store, would be very high. Right? Also, people would know that they are unique. Jimmy, do the people who work in stores like Walmart or Target typically know everything about all the products?
Not everything, no.
Definitely not. So they wouldn't be able to explain them or cut a penny in half. So
No.
Jimmy, If they were in a package next to another less expensive pair of shears, like the orange handle ones you see in Walmart, then which one's the customer gonna get?
Probably the orange ones.
Sure.
It's just based on what they see.
Sure, the cheaper the pair. So our major product is called Cutco Cutlery. I'll pass around a sample. Do not rub your finger over the blade. LeBryant, what's the first thing that you notice about the knife handle that's different from most other knife handles?
There's a lot of ridges in it. It's very durable. It's longer than I've seen.
Sure. It's called a universal wedge lock handle. It has a grip. Your thumb and forefinger locked into place at the top for better control and safety. Also, Jerry, what are most knife handles made of? Just common materials?
I would have to say wood, lower quality wood.
Sure. Wood, that's true. Also a lot of plastic. But wood and plastic are both very common. Got a few examples here. Wood is very common, especially on steak knives, things like that. Wood tends to fade, crack, and splinter over time, especially if it gets wet. Wood is also porous. That means it absorbs everything. It's very unsanitary. Grease, odors, bacteria. Plastic tends to chip and crack and melt pretty easily. It's also very slippery when it's wet. So we use what's called a thermoresin. Thermoresin does not chip, crack, or break. It's heat resistant, dishwasher safe, and very sanitary. As far as the steel, most knives use what's called a stainless steel. Stainless steel does not rust, pit, or corrode, so it is pretty sanitary. It's very soft. It goes dull every time you use it. You have to constantly sharpen it. Some knives use what's called a carbon steel. Carbon steel does rust, pit, and corrode. It's not sanitary at all. It looks like the top knife here, but it does hold a sharp edge for a long time. It's very hard metal. So we use what's called a high carbon stainless steel. It's a combination of both. It holds a good edge, but it never rusts. So, Antoine, what's the most important thing a knife should be able to do?
It should be able to cut what you're cutting.
Sure, it should be able to cut. So a demonstration we do with the customer to show the sharpness is we cut some rope. It's really tough, like a piece of like vegetables or raw meat, but it doesn't harm any knife edge. So Antoine will have you help me out real quick. Just going to hold the rope down for you. We're going to try all three of these larger knives here. And yeah, you can set that stuff down. I want you to do the same way with all three. I'm going to hold the rope. Take this one first and start at the very back by the handle. Press as hard as you possibly can and do full strokes back and forth until you get through it. All right, if you would actually count how many strokes it takes. As hard as you can press. Start back here. There you go. Hard as you can press, full strokes.
Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
There you go. Keep going.
14, 18,
Perfect. All right. You get a count on that? Ashley?
21.
21. All right. This one's serrated. It should go through a little quicker. Do the same thing for me. Start at the back. Press as hard as you can. Full strokes and count for us, Ashley.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
All right. Good enough. All right. Just set it down for me. And do the same thing one last time. Start at the very back as hard as you can. Full strokes. And count for us, Ashley.
1, 2, 3.
That's a close right there.
So the reason the knife cuts so well is because of how it's designed. Okay, the first edge that Antoine used was called a straight edge. Straight edges are just straight lines. When they touch a hard surface like a cutting board or a plate or a bone, they flatten out instantly. They go dull. You have to constantly sharpen them. The next edge was called a serrated edge. Serrated edges look like this. They just have points that rip and tear through what you're cutting. It's like a saw or a chainsaw. And when the points go dull and they wear out, after that it's a dull knife. It can never be resharpened. It has to be thrown away and then replaced. Then the last edge was called Cutco's Double D edge. The Double D edge has 3 individual blades that are in between every point. So all 3 of these surfaces are razor sharp blades. No matter what way our knives move, forward, backward, or straight down, they cut whatever you put pressure on. A typical knife will stay sharp for about 1 to 2 years. Cutco is designed to stay sharp for about a decade. Another one of our more popular ones is called the table knife. And it is called a table knife. This is not a steak knife. What's different about this from a steak knife?
it's round. It's rounded, a lot shorter.
Sure, most steak knives are pointed.
Similar to a butter knife.
Mhm.
Sure, this has a rounded tip like a butter knife, so you can still spread with it. Therefore, it's not just for steak, it's for every meal. I'm sure you've all seen a steak knife kind of like this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a demonstration we do with the customer to show the difference is we cut some shoe leather. It's real tough like a piece of steak, it just makes a real good comparison. So Ashley, I'll have you help me out real quick with this. Alright, so I'm gonna hold the leather up for you. Like this, I just want you to take a steak knife, press really hard so you can saw it all the way through it. Alright, set it down for me. Take that one, do the same thing for me.
Oh,
Hmm.
A little bit easier.
Yes, a lot easier.
Okay, make sure it's not,
Yeah.
make sure it's not a one-hit wonder, Jerry, so we'll do the same thing for me. Just press real hard and saw through it. Alright, set it down for me. Take that one and do the same thing. So Cutco's been featured on several episodes of television, including Modern Marvels, Made in America, How It's Made on the Science Channel, the Food Network. The Cooking Club of America promotes Cutco every year. They give us their product seal of approval. Welcome to take a look at those. Also, Dayton, when we're with the customer, we always let them do all the cutting, just like I did. Why do you think we would do that?
So they get the hands-on experience and see it for themselves and don't think that it's a technique that you learned or picked up
Sure.
just to sell.
Sure, they know there's no gimmick, it actually works, and they have hands-on experience, that's true. So, we use a prospectus, we call it the Blue Book here. It's just a detailed outline, everything a customer should know is in this book. So we go through this book page by page, make sure they're fully educated before they make a purchasing decision. I think it's very important for one to use their own personality when they're with a customer. Ashley, why do you think it's so important to use one's own personality?
Because you'll make it personable for your own self, so it doesn't seem like you're reading from a like a script or anything like that. You would be just fresh and new for someone. You wouldn't just be. If someone were to come to me from Cutco Vector and they would be selling me something, I would want them to be personable with me. I would want them to make my experience to fit me and not to fit someone else to generalize.
Okay, so we can develop that personal connection and a relationship with them. So everyone uses their own personality, therefore everyone's style of presenting ends up being a little bit different, even though we all cover the same basic outline. So we go through this with them page by page, just like I've done for you so far. We would cover the history of our company, where our products are made and how they're manufactured here in the USA. Then we talk about the disadvantages of common knives, like the ones we use to cut the rope and leather with. Then we talk about the features and benefits of Cutco, what our knives are made of and how they're designed. Then we cover this, it's called the Forever Guarantee. The Forever Guarantee has 4 points to it. The first point here says Forever Performance. That just says if the knife ever breaks or is ever damaged in any way, they receive a new knife for free forever. Next would be Forever Sharpness. That does not say our knives stay sharp forever. It does say if the knife ever goes dull, after a decade or 20 or 30 years, they would send it back. We'd resharpen it and repolish it for free forever. Next would be Forever Replacement for misuse and abuse. That says if someone misused it, like a screwdriver and the tip end broke off, or they try to cut a tree down, something weird like that, they get a new knife for half price forever. And lastly is the 15-day unconditional money-back guarantee that says everyone can use Cutco for 15 business days. If they didn't like it or weren't satisfied for any reason, they would send in for a full refund. Looking at our products, though, LeBron, do you think we have any people send this stuff back?
Oh, no, not at all.
Rarely ever. So, LeBron, why do you think we still have that part on the guarantee if nobody really sends it back?
Well, for one, from what I've seen, it lives up to his word. It's not going dull anytime soon.
Okay.
And it's going to stay sharp. People's going to always enjoy the sharpness of the parts when they're trying to cut their meats or whatever they're cutting. And I just don't think that they'll end up sending it back. I think anybody that buys it is going to enjoy their knives or scissors
Sure.
or anything.
Of course they would. So, once again, why would we still have the 15-day guarantee if nobody's really going to use it? David?
You go ahead.
Okay.
Well, no, if nobody's going, I guess it. I don't know.
David?
Maybe it's security in the product, and they'll
Sure.
feel, if you're gonna offer to send it back for free, or you said for a refund, right?
Yes.
Complete refund, then, they're gonna realize that, it's a good quality, and they're gonna test it, and if they don't like it, then, you know, they have the ability to send it back, but it's somewhat of a security in the product.
Sure, so it gives the
That
customer
they
peace of mind.
Yes.
If you're more comfortable making the purchase, they know they have the option to send it back.
Yes.
Jerry, we've had those same 4 points on the guarantee since the company started. That was 63 years ago. So what does that tell you about a company and our products?
For real. It comes
Sure.
for real.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's why we haven't changed it any. This is the basic set we have. It's 10 pieces, 7 knives, 2 forks, and a spatula. What makes Cutco affordable for anyone is they don't have to get a full set. They can get whatever they want to get, their favorite 1 or 2 or 3 pieces. Or they can get a set. Okay, the basic set in a block looks like this. We can also have sets that are larger, for people who do more cooking. We have a lot of smaller starter sets as well, for people who don't do as much cooking. Maybe they only cook once or twice a week. We have a lot of flatware and silverware. These are plate settings, silverware for the table. We have a lot of gift sets as well, Christmas, weddings, anniversary gifts. It's about 20 pages of gift sets I'll skip over. We have a lot of specialty knives, cleavers, boning knives, cheese knives. We have a lot of gadgets like ice cream scoops, pizza cutters, vegetable peelers. We have a lot of kitchen tools, cutting boards, grill sets, a lot of outdoor knives as well, and some garden tools. Has anybody here ever been fishing before?
Yes.
Almost everybody. Our most popular outdoor knife is probably the Fisherman's Solution. It's a fillet knife. The case doubles as a pair of pliers. You can grab the fish by the mouth while you fillet him, get hooks out of his mouth. Also has a sharpener on the back for rusty hooks or for a knife, and a line cutter built into the case. The blade on the knife extends anywhere from 6 to 9 inches, just depending on the size of the fish that you need to fillet, and locks back into place. It's very flexible. I'll pass around, don't rub your finger over it. Okay, so has anyone here ever priced the highest quality fillet knives?
No.
The one in a store like Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's would usually range between $100 and $150. Ours is priced at $60 because we market directly. Cutco's priced comparably with other high quality cutlery. And our individual pieces range anywhere from $15 to $100. And our representatives write up orders anywhere from $15 to $2,000, depending on what a customer wants to order. But the average order for someone who's brand new, right out of training, is only going to be $200. And the reasons for this average order size are the ways a customer can get Cutco. And we accept all major credit cards, debit cards, checks, cash, money order. Obviously that helps. They can also split up their order into 2, 3, or 5 interest-free monthly payments. That means this order could be split up 3 times, and it would be $67 per payment with no interest. Ashley, do you think that helps?
Yes, it does.
It definitely helps. And these things, add to the fact that we can get whatever they want, makes Cutco affordable for anybody in our market. How many of you feel if you showed Cutco to someone who really liked to cook, that they'd at least like to get one item?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Our closing percentage nationwide is 50%. That means if we see 10 customers, we usually write up about 5 orders on average, so about half the time. That's how often we sell. Here in this office, it's usually a little bit higher, usually 60 or 70%. And our average order tends to be a little bit higher in Winston-Salem as well. We do pretty well here. And that's really the whole presentation, everything I just did for you. It's just a relaxed presentation where we show the products and answer any questions the customer has. The product is the main attraction, not the representative. So Dayton, would you have been any less impressed with the quality of our products if somebody else had shown them to you?
If they would have done it exactly as you would have done it, I'd have been just as impressed. I mean, the product is, you know, it's not fake. We did it ourselves.
Sure.
3 different, I believe,
It
3,
was two different demonstrations.
well, I don't know, didn't 3 people do it? Or
Sure.
was it 2?
Three.
Three random people did it, you know, no practice. It's not fake.
Sure.
There's no practice involved, you know, they just.
So people like Cutco because of what they can see it do, therefore the product sells itself. I'm not looking for someone who's experienced with sales. What I look for is just someone who's nice and our customer feel comfortable meeting with. Our company has what's called a market niche or advantage. Most people don't own good cutlery. They usually have typical knives, like the ones we cut the rope and leather with. They're not usually looking for good knives either, so when we show someone Cutco and they get a chance to use it, it often creates a need. They go ahead and decide to make a purchase, even though they may have never gone to the store to buy high quality. That's our market niche. And the cutlery industry in the USA is about $1 billion a year, and we've been the #1 seller of high quality cutlery for about 15 years now. Most of our customers, Jimmy, are middle-aged and married. Why do you think that is?
Families, they do a lot of cooking, get-togethers, family.
Sure, most of our customers are stereotypical families and soccer moms who cook for their children, things like that. So we work through professional appointments only. That means we only see people if there's an appointment set and they already know that we're coming. Many of our part-time representatives can do 1 to 3 appointments per day on the days that they work. We have some full-time people who can fit in 4 to 8 per day on the days that they work. But they base their schedule on 3 things. The first thing is their availability, how much time they have. Yeah, obviously I work with several people who are in school or who might have another job, so they would work more part-time. Okay, number 2 is their financial objectives, how much money they want or need to make. And the last thing they base their schedule on is their work ethic. Everyone's work ethic is different. Now, actually, when our representatives first begin, they do their first few appointments with people they know and feel comfortable with. Why do you think they like to do that?
So that they can get comfortable with presenting the product to people and so they can feel comfortable doing the job, and then they can go out and go to different people and present the product the same way.
Sure, we get practice and good, honest feedback. I find a lot of our new people don't have previous experience, so this helps them become very comfortable and confident quickly. So we don't knock on doors or flip through the phone book to get people interested in Cutco. Because Jerry, if a product is good, then how should somebody hear about it?
Well, by word of mouth.
Sure. Word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertisement. Jerry, why do you think word of mouth is so powerful?
Oh my goodness, I mean, these people have actual experience, had the experience. And so, I mean, there's nothing better than the actual experience.
Sure, people are more likely to trust a friend or a family member than a TV commercial. I'm sure you've all probably heard of Rolex watches, right?
Oh, definitely.
Sure. Are they a high quality watch?
Yes, they are.
Sure. How many Rolex commercials do you see on TV?
Hardly nothing.
Sure. Very few of them. We work on the same principle. So to show you how our people get their appointments set, I'm going to use a simple example of someone doing 5 appointments in a day. Well, over here, we'll say Robert Hite were to do 5 appointments in a day. Robert is actually a manager with us now, an assistant manager. He started back in September, and he's one of the fastest people I've ever promoted to management just because his work ethic was so great. He used to go to Surrey Community College, and he works kind of more part-time with us, but he was from Dobson. That's where he grew up at. We'll say Robert were to do 5 appointments in a day. Okay? Actually, how many people do you think the average family knows?
A lot. Well, if we're going to put a number on it, maybe like 20, 25.
Sure, there's really no right answer.
Yeah.
The main thing I'm looking for is a lot, right? The average family is a lot of people. So on every appointment we do, we receive 5 to 10 recommendations of people who would like to take a look at our products. We can be recommended from 2 to 10 to 20 or more, but the average is 5 to 10. Okay, what our representatives do at the end of each appointment is simply ask the customer who they know who would like to take a look at Cutco. Okay, once again, we can get recommended from 2 to 10 to 20 or more. The average is always 5 to 10. The reason our customers are so ready to recommend other people to us is because they're recommended to us themselves. They're already comfortable with the process. But also they love the products and they like the representative as well. Okay, so if you understand at this point, you'll see that we don't do any door-to-door, cold calling, or telemarketing. We can only contact people we've been recommended to for an appointment. So from those 5 appointments, Robert would have a minimum of 25 new people whom he were recommended to that he could call for an appointment at any time. Robert works more part-time. Let's say that Robert were to only do 15 of those appointments the next week. Okay? Actually, what happens when he goes to see those 15 people?
He's recommended to more people.
Sure, what usually happens is our representatives have far too many people to go and see. So we have to teach them to see the most qualified customers first. Right? Also, if a representative starts in the area that they live, then where do you think most of their recommendations live?
Oh, can you repeat please?
If a representative starts in the area that they live, then where do you think most of their recommendations live?
The whole base, you know, where they live.
Sure. Most of our representatives work in the same area that they live, just like a real estate agent or an insurance agent, usually a 5 or 10 mile radius. But there are no territory restrictions. If someone wants to show someone in a different area, they can. In the past, we've had several Wake Forest University students who've worked with us. Obviously, most of those students are from out of state. When they go to school here during the school year, they work with our clients in Winston-Salem. When they go home for school breaks or for the summer, they can still work in their hometown if they'd like to. Most of them do. So since our representatives set their own appointments, they have a very flexible schedule. They can set appointments anywhere from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Some people like to work in the mornings, others like to work in the evenings. Some people work weekends, others work weekdays, so we work with all types of schedules. But regardless of how many appointments someone wants to do in a week, we always sit down with them at the beginning of every single week and help them plan their schedule out around all the commitments that they do have, school or another job, family, stuff like that. Obviously, that stuff comes first. So if a representative works one schedule a certain week, they're not stuck in that schedule forever. They can change it up the next week. The reason our people love that is because, has anybody ever had a job where you wanted to work 30 or 40 hours, but your boss gave you 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been on the flip side. They need to work 12 or 15, but their boss gives them 30 or 40. So the flexibility is something our people enjoy. When a customer orders, all they do is write up an order form. It's turned in here to the office. I ship it up every week, and the customers get the products through the UPS or priority mail. Okay, so pay is the next section I'm going to cover. It's the most important section by far. I would definitely get all of this in your notes. Okay, so we do have a two-part pay program. And the philosophies that our pay are based on would be to have a base rate of pay, to take the pressure off the representative, and ensure a professional approach, whether or not a customer wants to purchase. But the reason we also have an incentive side is because, look, Brian, some people have held jobs in the past where they work a lot harder than their coworkers. When their paychecks came, there's no reflection of their extra effort. How do you think it makes people feel?
It makes them feel as if they're not worth that company's time. It makes them feel as like they're doing a lot of hard work for nothing, and they're always getting the same pay over and over.
Sure.
Nothing's changing.
What do you think happens to their performance after that?
They either lose interest or they quit and find somewhere else.
Sure, our company rewards people if they work hard. With the incentive program, it's reflecting their paycheck. So what I'm going to do is explain the base pay and the incentives. I'll show you how they work. Okay, first off, our people are paid weekly. It's not bi-weekly or monthly. Every week we get a paycheck, typically every Monday. Okay, but we get whichever is greater between the base pay and incentives, not both, whichever is higher every week. The base pay, as you saw advertised, would be $15 per appointment. And an appointment takes how long?
An hour.
1 hour.
45 minutes to an hour. We have someone working really part-time, and they're only doing about 10 appointments in a week. That's what many of our students do around school. Then obviously 10 times 15 is $150. If we have someone a little bit more motivated and they're doing 20 or so in a week, obviously 20 times 15 is going to be $300. Okay, sometimes we'll have someone really full-time doing about 30 or so. 30 times 15 would be $450. So it's just multiplication. Okay, and every appointment is done with a customer who is at least 25 years of age, and they must have a job. Jerry, why are those two things important?
Oh my goodness. Well, the job, they have to have a job to pay for it, and the age 25, oh my goodness. I think we went over the fact that this is the age group that does a lot of cooking.
Sure. That's closer to our target market, people who actually use our products. It ensures that we don't show it to your 8-year-old niece who neither has the money for it or the need for it. All right. Also, it's done one-on-one, not in a big group or a party. Jimmy, why do you think our representatives prefer a one-on-one setting instead of a group or party?
A one-on-one setting gives the seller the opportunity the presenter to present to the person that they're selling to a more one-on-one type basis to show them the product.
Okay, sure, so we can build a better relationship with the customer, focus more on them. Both parties are more comfortable in a one-on-one setting. Jimmy, do you think that a customer feels comfortable asking questions in a large group of people?
Some do, some don't.
Sure, many don't. Just as a student, we may not feel comfortable asking questions in a large classroom. Okay, so obviously this gives us a chance to focus on them and meet all their attention and give them all their special needs and answer their questions. So that's the base pay. Is that pretty clear?
Yeah.
All right, the incentives are designed to reward people if they work harder, do better. These are, once again, we don't get both. We get whichever is greater every week. The incentives are based on career sales. They start at 10% and they go up based on career sales. From 0 to 1,000, we earn 10%. From 1 to 3,000, we earn 15%. From 3 to 10,000, we earn 20%. From 6 to 10,000, we earn 25%. Everything above 10,000, we earn 30%. These levels are cumulative. That means when a representative hits a certain incentive level, they are there or higher forever. They can never drop back down as long as they're with us. So once someone hits 15%, they can never again make 10%. Continues to go up based on their career sales. Okay, there are a couple of levels past 30%. There's no need to cover that in the interview. If you're selected, I would cover that with you in training. Okay, we'll just stop at 30% for now. I'm going to give you some examples of how this would work for a brand new person. We'll say a brand new representative were to do 20 appointments their first week, just to make the math easy for me. Okay, so if they do 20 appointments, obviously they're guaranteed a minimum of $300 off the guaranteed base pay, 20 times 15. So no matter what, they're going to make a minimum of $300. Does that make sense? Let's look at what someone would sell though, if they were average and they did 20 appointments. If we have a 50% sales ratio, how many sales is that? It's 10 sales, and our average order is 200, so 10 times 200 is 2,000. If someone's average, they would sell about 2,000 product if they did 20 appointments. Let's say this person's first week on the job, they were far below average. Let's say they only wrote up about 1,000 orders. Okay, they're now at 10%, of course, starting out, so 10% of 1,000 is 100. Their first week, the base pay is a lot greater than the incentives. What's their paycheck?
The base pay.
The base pay is $300. 300 is greater than 100, that's the one they would get. Let's say their second week on the job, they do 20 more appointments just to keep it consistent. Let's say this week they actually perform average. They do about 2,000 orders. Well, they're now at 15% because they sold their first 1,000 the week before. The 15% of 2,000 is going to be exactly 300. So that week the incentives match the base pay. Neither one's greater. They would just take the 300. Let's say the third week on the job they do better than average. Most of the people in this office do better than average. We'll say the third week they wrote up about 3,000 orders. Well, they're now at 20% because they sold this 2,000 the week before. 20% of 3,000 is going to be 600. What's their paycheck that week?
600.
600. It's a lot greater than 300. That's the one they get. Let's say their fourth week on the job they have a bad week. Everybody has bad weeks. That's why we have the guaranteed base pay. Let's say their fourth week they do about 1,000 orders. They're now at 25% because they sold this 3,000 the week before. 25% of 1,000 is going to be 250. So that week the base pay is a little bit greater. That's the one they would get instead of the 250. Okay. These numbers are all based close to our averages. Obviously, I always have representatives who do way better than average. 2 weeks ago, we had a new representative on our team named Dylan, who's doing a great job with us. Dylan sold about $5,000 worth of Cutco products his first 2 days on the job. So obviously, he's a little bit better than average, and he made a lot more money than the base pay his first 2 days. Okay. So does everybody understand how this works?
Yeah.
Now, Ashley, as our people increase on the percentage scale, what side do you think they focus more on, the base pay or the incentives?
Incentives.
Definitely the incentives. But they always have the security of the base pay, no matter what. So let me recap for clarity. Our people are paid weekly. The paychecks are mailed from the factory to their house. They usually arrive on Monday or Tuesday. Most of my representatives here are on direct deposit, so they get paid a little bit quicker, usually by Friday or Saturday, depending on their bank. But every week we add up the incentives. And if it's less than the base pay, we just add on the extra amount to make it at least $15 per appointment. That just provides a floor for people to stand on. They expect to receive a steady, consistent pay every week. With the incentive side, there's no ceiling on how much they can make. And we find for a lot of our younger people, especially if someone's a student, this offsets most of, if not all, of the tuition costs. It becomes very independent. The reason we can afford a pay program like that is because of our training. See, in training, we teach our people everything that they need to know to be successful here. Our training was referenced in the Wall Street Journal as being the best program a young person could go through for income and experience. You're welcome to read through this. I know it's a long article, so if you can't read through it, you can read through it after this interview. You're welcome to do that. Also, there's a few college textbooks who've chosen to write us up. This is called Strategic Marketing. It's used at both Wake Forest and NC State. It's a chapter in the book dedicated to Vector's training program. Vector Marketing Corporation. On the next page is a picture of our factory up in New York. And then on the next page, a picture of our product line, Cutco. I'm not going to pass this whole book around. As you can see, it's been passed around a few times. If you'd like to read through it later, you're more than welcome to do that. There's about a dozen or so college universities who require all of their marketing students to go through our training and sell our products as part of a class project for a 400-level college course. These include Purdue, LSU, Michigan State, Illinois State, NC State, and Raleigh, of course. Western Carolina recently adopted us into their marketing curriculum as well. And the fact that academic institutions require their students to do this says a lot about our training. our training is world renowned, and by itself, it looks better on a resume than most other jobs do. So I'm going to go through the training with you now. Our training is broken up in 3 phases. The first phase here is called the initial seminar. And the initial seminar is usually 3 days, usually 3 half days. Most of the time it's a Thursday through a Saturday. Just where we take the time to teach our new people the basics of the position. Okay, so on day 1, we teach our new people everything they need to know about the products. That way, no matter what question a customer would ask, we'd be equipped to answer it. Okay, on day 2, we teach our people about pricing and competitors. We also help our new people set up their first few appointments on day 2. So we teach them how to do that. Most of our new people leave day 2 of training with their first 5 or 10 appointments already set up. And then on day 3, that's just a big review day where we do paperwork and practice, make sure they're ready to go. Okay, so that's our initial seminar. This is usually run by me. Okay, we have assistant managers that help me run a lot of the interviews. The training is usually run by myself though. Right, so I'm usually run all 3 days most of the time. I've run dozens of these. I'm pretty good at it. Right. Also, the second phase would be their paid training appointments. Their paid training appointments. I mentioned that our new people would start by practicing with people that they know. And we usually like to see them do 7 to 15 of these their first week. Yeah, that number is not mandatory. They can do more or less if they need to. If I have a student with 3 or 4 exams in a week, they can do as few as 3 or 4. If I have someone from the area and they don't have a lot going on, they can do as many as 30 or 40. So we help our new people set those up during the initial seminar on day 2. Right? Now, those are paid. Both the base pay and the incentives come into effect for their very first training appointment. The reason the company is willing to guarantee pay for that time, even though it's just training, is although our customers don't have to purchase anything if they don't want to, since it's just training, what do you think happens a lot anyway? Many people see the quality and decide to get some stuff. Also, the recommendations and word of mouth advertising we get from those first few appointments is well worth it. So we're definitely willing to pay them for that, right? Both the base pay and the incentives. The last phase of training is ongoing training. LeBryant, how long do you think most companies spend training their employees?
See at least about 3 to 6 months, maybe.
For an entry-level position, it can be anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, maybe a month or so.
Okay.
Right, usually not a long period of time. One of the first perks of working with Vectors, we have never-ending training. So as long as someone's with us, we continue to help them improve and get better, so they can earn more income and advance. All right, the first part of ongoing training is advanced training, 1 and 2, AT 1 and 2. And advanced training is where we actually have our new people back in the office for 2 short trainings spaced throughout their first week. These are right after their first few appointments they do. The reason we do that, Ashley, do you think that some of our new people might make mistakes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course they do. Do you think that they might have questions after their first few appointments?
Yeah.
Sure, that's why we have them back in. We continue to help them improve any questions they have that they didn't know how to answer. Take a lot of pride and support we give our people, especially when they're new. Okay, so that's advanced training. That's the best training we have to offer them. All right, after that, we have some optional parts to our training. And these optional parts, number 1 would be field training. I'm going to abbreviate FT. Field training is job shadowing. That's when a brand new person can go into the field with a more experienced representative. They get a chance to meet someone else on the team and ask some questions afterwards. And they get a chance to watch a live presentation with a real customer. So, our top person last summer, her name was Faith Frazier. She graduated from North Forsyth High School and she's attending UNC Charlotte now. She's studying marketing there, but she had a $400 average order and a 90% sales ratio. So she's coming back in 2 weeks with her, after her last exam to work with us again this summer and probably be an assistant manager. So, you know, if you are selected, she'd be a great one to go field training with. Also, Jake Murray. Jake is actually from Sparta, North Carolina. It's about an hour and a half north or northwest of here, a real small town. And Jake goes for Forsyth Tech Community College. He started last August. He's already sold about $20,000 worth of Cutco products. He's pays for all his own school with his job, so he's a good one to go field training with as well, better than an average person. Okay. After that, we have conferences and division meetings. And our conferences are held in places like Charlotte or Atlanta or Niagara Falls. We just went to Niagara Falls back in November. And this is a company trip we do for our management candidates. The best people are invited to that. We toured the factory in Olean when we go there. We went to Atlanta back in January for a year-end banquet. That was to celebrate all the accomplishments in 2011. We do that every January. We've got about 2 to 3 conferences every summer, so we've got some coming up pretty quick here, one in Charlotte in about a month. So these are high-level training functions for our best people, and conferences are optional, but most people take advantage of them if they're invited because they're typically free courtesy of the company, traveling experience, and it's a lot of fun also. So after that, there are 3 things that are not optional that all of our people do every week to be successful here. And the first is they would attend the weekly team meeting. And the weekly team meeting is a once-a-week meeting held right here in the office. It's a time for announcements and advanced information and recognition. The main thing we do is recognition, because a lot of people have had jobs in the past where the only time their manager or boss went out of the way to talk to them was if they were yelling or complaining or criticizing them. And we don't do that here. Our company philosophy is based on positive recognition of people, not negative, so we do a lot of that. Sales certificates, awards, a lot of letters of recommendation for myself, a lot of recognition in general. So also, the next thing is our representatives do not drive here every day to punch a clock. That would be a waste of gas. But they do call in each day and just let us know how their schedule's going. If they need any help or have any questions, we just help them on the phone.
You said that's daily or weekly?
Daily. The last thing they do is stop by once a week to turn their paperwork in, order forms, things like that. So they stop by 1 time per week, and that's usually on a Sunday or a Monday when they stop in. Okay, so usually a Sunday or a Monday. And when they stop in for that, we go ahead and have a paycheck scheduling meeting with them. We go ahead and plan their schedule out for the next week. It takes 10, 15 minutes. And that's our training. And the last thing I'll talk about is perks. Jimmy, if our representatives just showed pictures of our products and just talked about how they cut, and how do you think they would do it?
Not very good.
Why is that?
Because they don't have a product to show to the person, to the people that they're meeting with.
Okay, sure. Most customers are hands-on, they like to try a product out, and pictures don't prove anything. So our company has what's called a sample program. This is where we put together $350 worth of our products. And on the 3rd day of training, I just loaned it out for free to someone. The reason I'm pretty selective is because I loan it out for free. So since it is still company property, if and when someone ever were to move on, they would just return it to us. Okay, the perk comes from the fact they can use it as their own while they're loaning it for free. They can cook with it, use it in their home, whatever they want to do is fine. Another huge perk is advancement. Okay, the reason I've stayed here and stuck around with this company is because I was moving up pretty quickly. I don't like being stuck in the same place. I like working hard and moving up. So the first part of advancement is our Key Staff program. The Key Staff is our inner leadership organization. Our top most motivated people get on Key Staff pretty quickly. And Key Staff, they just meet once a week right before the team meeting, and we teach them some advanced sales skills. We also teach them personal growth. We teach them a lot of public speaking skills, a lot of entrepreneurship skills, things like that. Stuff that'll help them in any professional business environment. After that is assistant management, where someone would just help me with the everyday duties in the office here. Assistant managers help me with the interviewing, the training, the recruiting, the advertising, everything. And they're paid a percentage of office sales every week. After that is branch management. Branch is where we'll actually take someone and train them really part-time, maybe 1 or 2 hours per week during the fall and spring. The next summer they would go out and run their own branch office. So they'd be their own boss for a summer. They'd be in my position in an office for a summer. So obviously that looks good on a resume. It's good for a young person between the ages of 18 and 22 to do as a student. Pretty unique. Right? Also after that, we have district manager. That's, if someone does good at branch, if they enjoy it, they'd be promoted again to district. That's a permanent position where they run their own office in a larger city. Last summer we had a branch in Salisbury, High Point, Burlington, Durham, Chapel Hill, Asheville, Hickory, Salisbury, several other smaller towns around the area. So yeah, that's advancement. There's several parts past district. I'm not going to cover that now. Okay. I think no matter how far someone goes or how much money they make, the most valuable thing is the experience. Because what are most employers looking for on a resume?
Experience.
Sure. How do you get experience without a job? You can't. It's a catch-22 a lot of younger people are caught up in nowadays. Me, I take about 100 applications per week here, and I see the same thing every day. Stores, restaurant work, office work, fast food, retail, grocery stores, labor jobs, jobs that everybody has done that don't stand out on a resume at all. So our people here at Vector get valuable experience that does stand out. They gain practical skills like time management, communication skills, presentation skills, goal setting, probably the most valuable one, stuff that will help them wherever they go. So working with Vector looks pretty good on a resume. If you don't get the chance to work with us, I would suggest trying to get a position like this so you can get the experience you need. If you do get the chance to work with us, the biggest perk is our team. The reason I've stayed in Winston-Salem is the people here on our team. I've never really met a group of people as positive and as motivating as people here. I think if you surround yourself with the right people, you have no choice but to be pushed in the right direction. That's why I like it here. For me, work never gets old. I always look forward to it, never dread it. The main thing I look forward to every day is just offering other people the same opportunity I had. I started this job a few years ago as a college senior, and I graduated school with no loans because of this job. And I appreciated that, so I enjoy giving that to other people also. The last thing I'll say is, although I do have to be selective, the mission statement I have here is to help as many people as I can grow professionally and personally. So if you're selected, that's what I'll do with you. And if not, then best of luck with your job search. The last thing I'll have you do is answer a couple questions on paper for me. And when you get one of these, go ahead and turn it over, because I need you to write 3 more questions on the back and answer those as well. So when you get it, go ahead and turn it over. All right, the first question I want you to write on the back is going to be explain pay. So explain pay. Just show me how our pay program works, the base pay and the incentives. Okay, so explain pay. Next question, what are 5 goals you have in the next 5 years? 5 goals in the next 5 years. And your goals can be career-oriented or educational, or personal, any kind of goal is fine. Just 5 things you think you'd like to accomplish. And the last question would be, why should I select you for the position? In other words, what would you bring to the team? Why do you stand out? All right, if you would, start on the front. There's some yes/no questions on the front there. Those are really simple and straightforward. In the middle, you'll see a section short answers, very simple also. At the bottom on the front, you'll see a section that I realize most of you are very professional. You may have turned your cell phones off during the interview, and I appreciate that. If you need to use your cell phone for the bottom part, you can. Okay, I can't guarantee anybody a position. I can just guarantee them an interview. We're looking to recruit the right people before the summer starts. So I think that about half of you were recommended by someone who already works here. And then just work on the ones on the back. Everything that we laid out on the table that we looked at, so if you get a chance to read through it, you're welcome to do that. And I'll call you one by one to my office to let you know whether or not you've been selected. The order that I call you in has nothing to do with who and who is not selected. All right, the last thing, guys, if you would just spread back out for me real quick.